What's up, guys? Welcome to the very first Speed Syndicate USA YouTube video. I'm Jerry, this is my garage, and that is my old man's 67 Mustang. So I don't know a ton of the history on this car, but let me share with you what I do know. My dad purchased this car from my sister-in-law's brother. It had allegedly come from California and been driven across the country to Kentucky. When my dad bought it, it was like a old faded ratty navy blue looking color. It had some cheesy chrome wheels from the 80s on it. It looked pretty rough, but it was fairly solid and pretty well complete. So Dad had my uncle put a cheapo barn paint job on it. You know, it looks okay, but it's a 20-footer for sure. It's 289 C4. I don't know if either of those are original, but I know that both are very tired. But it does run and drive. It'll start up right now. It'll get you where you need to go. There are several issues with this thing that I would like to address, but our main problem right now is that C4 transmission. It does work, but it slips a little bit, and not even really like a slip. It's more of a kind of lazy going into gear type of thing. The main issue with it is it leaks like the freaking Valdez, man. I'm telling you, it is terrible. You can top the fluid off on this thing, drive it into town, and by the time you get there, you got a dry dipstick. And I don't know about you, but I ain't after having no dry dipstick, all right? So, job number one, let's get the transmission out of this guy. All right, so we're up on jack stands. We have cleared all of the eight-legged friends and nests and dwellings and various creepy crawly things out from under here so we can slide under and see what we got going on. All right, so as you can see, we've just got secretions of horsepower everywhere under here. First couple things I'm noticing is doesn't appear to be any weld here. I think that's just a slip fit with these clamps, which is kind of good news because it'll make this H-pipe section here pretty easy to get out, I think. We'll just undo those clamps, go up in here and undo the header flanges. Hopefully they will actually come loose. And then I think we can pop this H-pipe section out and we can then get the drive shaft out of here. I think it shouldn't be too bad. Then it'll just be, you know, cross member, bell housing bolts, blah, blah, blah. So let's dig in. My old man was the best, you know. Not a doubt in my mind that if he was still around, he'd be here right now. I can't tell you how many times he and I hung out in this garage, you know, whether it was just shooting the shit, changing some oil, or, you know, working on this thing, or when I first got my race car, you know, he helped me with it. And even in his last years in a wheelchair, man, he was right here. I kind of feel like he's here right now too. So here's a fun update. Once I got those clamps loose from that H-pipe, it's definitely welded in. It looks like they slipped everything together, stuck the clamps on it to hold it, and then put some spot welds kind of on the back where you can't see them, which is weird. But upon further review, looks like the whole exhaust from the headers back, at least to the mufflers anyway, has got to come out before we can do anything else. So I'm going to go fight that now. Well, here's what I can tell you about this rig so far. The exhaust guy and the transmission guy, definitely not pals. Nope. And right about now, I don't too much care for either one of them. Alright, so that is a spider on my shirt. Hey, speaking of shirts, stick around to the end of this video and I'll give you a sweet discount code to get a bad mama jamma just like this for yourself. Anyway, good news is, got all the header flange bolts out. Bad news is, I'm 98.6% sure they were never tight to begin with. I put a ratchet on them briefly and then realized I didn't need it. Just took them out with my fingers. So header flange bolts are out, and the front of that H-pipe deal is detached and hanging down. Bad news. More bad news. Ugh, a lot of that. Upon further inspection, it looks like the exhaust was put in with little thought to having to ever take it or anything else back out from under this car. So I'm hoping that I can take the rear hangers loose and drop it down far enough to get the transmission to kind of finagle out of this thing. So that's what I'm going to start digging into now. All right, so the exhaust ended up dropping down very nicely. We were going to have plenty of room there. I'm going to start jerking the drive shaft out of this thing now. Drive shaft's out. And I was really focused on trying to make a good Alan Jackson U-joint with my fingers joke. Did this. So that's fun. But yeah, drive shaft's out, and we definitely will be replacing U-joints when this thing goes back together. Got a feeling that may need a kitty litter sponsorship. If any of you guys can hook me up with that. This is a feline friendly program here. Y'all thought I was kidding about all the critters I cleared out from under here, didn't you? Alright guys, so as you can see, we are pulling bell housing bolts out now. Starter is out over there on the ground. I think that I'm probably going to call it a night once I get this here bell housing bolt out. We've got, so far tonight, we have got the exhaust down, drive shaft out, starter out, which, by the way, the starter wire came loose from the crimp as I was taking the starter loose, so we do have to fix that. But right now, I've kind of done everything I can do without having to roll around in this mess that I made because I was focused on Alan Jackson. So I think what is, we're just gonna call it a night because I'm old and tired and it's late and I just don't have any more left in the tank tonight, and I don't feel like dealing with that mess. So I'm going to let the kitty litter do its thing, soak that mess up overnight, and I'll come back out here hopefully tomorrow and get this thing the rest of the way apart. What's up, guys? Finally made it back out to the garage tonight. It's been a couple days. Been busy smoking out the neighborhood with some whistling kitty chasers and Hoosker do's, a couple Hoosker don'ts. So when we last left off, I was pulling out the bottom bell housing bolts. So I think tonight, while I still got it up in the air, I'm going to slide under here quick, try to jerk the converter bolts out of it. Then we'll probably come back up top, take those bell housing bolts out, and at that point, I think all that's left is probably the cross member and, like, you know, shifter cable, speedo cable, stuff like that, little stuff. I'm hoping to be able to drop this thing fairly quickly tonight, but let's slide under here and see what we can do. Hey, look. It's me. Alright. Frame rail. Light. Action. Oil pan. Hey, look at that. Sticks to the oil pan. Okie dokie. Converter bolt. I'm stupid. I was trying to think of how in the world I'm going to turn this flywheel. I'll just grab the crank. Duh. Hey, looky there. Turns over. Okay,
Converter bolts are out. Man, there's some serious fireworks going on out there. Can you guys hear that? Anyway, I've got new training lines for this car already, so I could just cut these off and not have to worry about them while I'm trying to fight this thing out. And that might be what I do here. Let's go get the new ones, though, and slide up under here with them and just see. Let's make sure they're right before I cut these. Here's the new training lines. When I say new, I just took them out of the package, but my old man ordered these, I think, from Jegs probably like 10 years ago, and we just never got around to putting them on. But we're getting there now, Pops. You guys have probably just been staring at the top of my head this whole time, haven't you? I'm probably not going to be able to use any of this footage. You guys remember I said this thing was a 20-footer? Yeah, we got little stuff like this going on everywhere. But hey, from back here, pretty good. All right, so got a cord of Type F holding you in place there while I'm gonna go get something to elevate myself so I can maybe see down in there for bell housing bolts, because I really don't want to jack this thing up, take the stands out, lower it down, get the bolts, raise it back up. It's just a lot. I'm gonna get a thing. Definitely OSHA approved. Just like that up there. Anyway, you guys get many like snakes and critters and stuff where you live? I got a raccoon that keeps eating my bird seed, and he's knocking my bird houses down, and it's really pissing my wife off. What do you guys do about this? All right, bell housing bolts. Let's see. That's a hole. What is that? Throttle cable or throttle rod. It's cool that it has a throttle rod, not a throttle cable. Throttle cable or throttle rods are much better than throttle cables. Throttle cables suck. Here's a bell housing bolt. I think, memory serves, those guys are like 5/8. I'm gonna see if I got an inch or something. Oh, it's tighter than. It's tight. God dang! Why? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say whoever put this transmission on this engine definitely put it on outside the car, and then they dropped this whole deal in here as a unit, because there is no way that they got those things that tight like this. Ain't no way. The good news is, so far, they've all been pretty easy to get to. So that's good. I was worried about having to fight, firewall and whatnot. But, ooh, there we go. I didn't think that one was going to come out. Thought the bolt was going to be too long and hit the firewall, but we got her. Okay, let's go around the other side. Hey! but there's very little fluid comes out, if any. Okay, I was wrong. Guys, don't ever do this at home with no help, because this is dangerous. Don't do it. There's the C4, boys and girls. All right, so does not appear to be a leaking front pump seal. So that was my suspicion. Looks like I was wrong. Man, I don't really see a smoking gun because it's just covered everywhere. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, guys, I promised if you stuck around to the end of the video, I'd get you a discount code for some Speed Syndicate USA merch. We got shirts, hats, hoodies, decals, all kinds of stuff. Use code SPEED25. That's SPEED25, SPEED25. That will get you 10% off at checkout on anything that you order. Guys, the support means more than you know. Hit the subscribe button. Come back and catch me next time when I tear this thing down and find out what's going on inside of it.